Hello there, bookish souls. I was tagged ages ago to do the Totally Didn't book tag, and today I am finally going to do it. So I was tagged by It's a Bookish Thing 13. Thank you so much for the tag. I have wanted to do this tag for a long time and I've just been so disorganized I haven't got around to doing it. But at least I finally get to do it now. I just totally didn't need a sequel or sequels. My choice was Illuminate, which might seem a little bit strange because I haven't actually read the sequel or sequels of it. So this is less of a negative judgment and more of the fact that this book was so good on its own that I could quite happily stop reading here and not feel like I need to read the rest of them. Totally didn't need to have more than one point of view. My choice for this was the Game of Thrones series, not because I think it should only have one point of view, but because I think it should have a lot less points of view. I think that it's got far too convoluted within the later half of the books, and there are storylines that could very much have been combined into one character rather than having multiple side characters and things like that. Totally didn't need to have a cover change in the middle of the series. My choice for this was a childhood series because it's the only book on my shelves that doesn't have matching covers, and that is the Tramaris series. The first two books of this series were like this, with this kind of drawn covers. And then the last book, when it finally came out several years later, was like this with the more sort of Photoshop cover. Totally didn't need a love triangle, and my choice for this was pretty much any book ever because I personally find love triangles to be unrealistic and frustrating to read about in most books. I think that if you're tossing up between two people to that degree, it's probably because you don't really have very strong feelings for either of them, and it just seems kind of petty, and it makes the character who's tossing up between the two people seem really unrealistic to me, so I just don't enjoy reading them at all. Totally didn't need this book to be included in the series, and I've thought a little bit outside the box for this answer because my choice was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which isn't part of the actual series, but it's like a companion novel sequel type thing to the series, and I can't stand this book, play, whatever it is. This book, it disappointed me so much that I don't even have the words to describe it. Totally didn't need a cliffhanger, and I've thought a little bit outside the box for this one too because my choice was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. It was my choice because of the fact that the book ended and I was like, holy shit, what happens next? I need to know what happens next, and I kind of want someone to write like fanfic or something of what happens after the book ends, because it really does end at a point where you're like, cannot even imagine what is about to happen to the main character. Totally didn't need to have only one point of view. My choice for that was A Court of Wings and Ruin. This book made it seem like it was going to be multiple points of view, and then it just wasn't, and it was very strange. Like, it has one chapter at the start and one chapter at the end from someone else's point of view, and that is it. Honestly, I think this book could have done with being told from multiple points of view because Sarah J Maas just seems to have tried to add so much to the book. It seemed a little bit too ambitious to be trying to tell that much just from one point of view. Totally didn't need that much hype. My choice for this was The Book Thief. So many people talk about this as being their favorite book and being this amazing, heart-wrenching book. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't cry and that I wasn't invested in the story, but it did definitely let me down. I found the writing style to be quite childish, like someone trying to be a good writer rather than just being a good writer, and so there was a lot about this book that I'm just like, I don't think this is that excellent. Totally didn't need a relative book reference, and to be honest, I don't entirely understand what this question means. I think it's like, if you like this book, then you might like this book, and for that I guess maybe my choice would be Heartless, in terms of like, if you like Alice in Wonderland, you might like Heartless. Reading it as an Alice in Wonderland theme was definitely really good, but I also wouldn't recommend this book based on anything that anyone else liked. It's kind of like, if you like Alice in Wonderland, you might like parts of this book, but you definitely won't like it as a whole. Totally didn't deserve my time, and for that I'm gonna go all the way back to a previous answer to a previous question and bring out this delightful book again. I bought this book on the way home from work and sat down and started reading it immediately, and like didn't get up off the table even to eat until I had finished it because I like couldn't put it down, but also I was so angry at it the whole way through. I finished it and I was like, I literally just wasted an entire evening. I didn't even eat dinner. I'm hungry, I'm grumpy, it's late, I haven't done anything useful, and I'm not even glad that that happened because this book wasn't worth that waste of time. So that's definitely my choice. that is the totally didn't book tag. This was really fun. It is kind of fun to get petty about books and, you know, complain about the little things that we have gripes with in books. Don't panic, I do like things about all of these books here, except for this one, because I do tend to try and have positive opinions or take positive things out of every book that I read, except for this one. So don't think that I'm just a hate basher who will bash on all books all the time, but this was definitely a lot of fun to do. I will see you in some other video very shortly, I'm sure, and until then, as always, stay classic.
Sit there and count your fingers.